What is good, everybody? What is good? Is Big Game James, man. We back in the building. My girl Stargazer, it's the Big Star Show. Last week had took a little hiatus, had the Senior Bowl the week before, but we are back in the building. We back in business. Hey ho, my guy Rev Revel. Make sure you like, share on both channels. Go ham on it all you want. Show it, show it, show it.
Mhm.
Gonna be talking some good Cowboys football today. Talk a little bit of that Senior Bowl and a lot of this defensive coordinator. I called him grandpa. People get mad. I call him Mike Zimmer grandpa. That's my name for him this year. He's
Oh,
grandpa this year. But hey, you never know. Grandpas may be able to pull something out they have. But I'm doing a lot of talking. How you doing, Star?
what up, Big? Good to see you. Good to be back. I know we took, like you said, 2 weeks off, but we are here today. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Really excited to talk Cowboys football as always. So I said, let's get it started.
Let's get it started. So we're gonna jump right quick to this Senior Bowl. So obviously, I was out the Senior Bowl a couple weeks ago. It was really awesome. I
Hmm.
had got to get a lot of good interviews. I actually could have got more interviews from like some of the top guys who were,
Yeah.
they were there, but I'm like, why am I going to interview Michael Penix Jr. And he's not coming to the Cowboys? That would
Right.
me just saying I got the interview with him. I'm not going to
Right.
be interviewed. I told myself I'm not interviewing people that I don't think the Cowboys can't get
Can
or may
actually
not
get.
look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like that was a waste of my time. So I really just try to attack the interviews that I thought Cowboys can get. Now, did you actually get to see the Senior Bowl Star? Did you look at the rosters? What do you kind of think? Because you mentioned I was giving you a lot of props, not to cut you off. I was giving you a
Hmm.
lot of props because you mentioned those Notre Dame backers, especially the one Marist, I believe you mentioned him, and he
Yep.
was everything that you said. But talk about some of the
That's
players that you had identified that were there, and we kind of go from there.
Yeah, I think I said Maris Leah Fowl.
Hmm.
I had mentioned, I think, Cedric Gray.
Yes,
Trying to see, was there another linebacker that I mentioned?
JD
Um,
Bertrand's pretty good too with Notre Dame. I like him.
oh, okay, JD Bertrand. I don't think I mentioned him last
Hmm.
time, but I have heard about him. I think I've looked into were the two backers from Michigan there, Junior Colson and Barrett, something
No,
Barrett.
they weren't there, but they had edge
Okay,
guys there. They had like Jalen Harrell, he was there. They had more edge guys. They
okay.
had a lot of linemen, offensive linemen that were there with Michigan. Those guys, I think, kind of maybe feel like they cemented their status, so they didn't really go because we
Yeah, they
even
didn't
had
really
some
come.
guys. Yeah, we had some guys. I mean, they had some guys like Latu from UCLA. I mean, he's a top
Mhm.
10, top 15 guy off the edge from UCLA, and he was there
Yeah.
doing the drills. He was in there in practice, but the last day he
Mhm.
kind of set out. But kind of bouncing off what you were talking about, I want to kind of
I know my guy, he went off, Quinion Mitchell. I know
yes,
he was a
yes.
he was
He
a big name. He went off, and there was another cornerback. I didn't have him on my list, but he was like he got like 2 picks during a game or something. What was that guy's
I
name?
think he was the safety from where was he? I think he was the
Uh,
safety from Oregon. I can't remember. Yeah,
let me see.
Kyrie Jackson, I think he had two
Yeah.
of them.
Yep.
He
That guy,
was and
Kyrie
he
Jackson.
was active in practice, you feel me? See,
Mhm.
I think where I dropped the ball was I was really concentrated Star on the linemen, offensive
Mhm.
linemen, defensive linemen,
Yeah.
linebackers. I
Yeah.
looked at running backs, I was really looking
Mhm.
at receivers. I really
Yep.
probably should have looked at corners because we need corners. Now I definitely looked at Mitchell, but there were some other guys that really turned up. A couple guys from Auburn, the kid from Washington State. There was some guys out there that impressed. So really, I have to look at the combine and see how they do on pro days. But as far as Quentin Mitchell, I feel like he cemented his first round. If
Oh,
he
yeah.
was borderline, he cemented it. Everything they
Yeah.
kind of wanted to see
Really,
what he
yeah.
could do. He was
Yeah.
everything. He has the speed. He has the length. He has the attitude. I'm really excited to see, and I like seeing guys like that who are not like University of Toledo, not the big schools, really turn
Right.
up and really show they can play too.
Yeah. I think, and then also I think I know you talked to uh what's his name? Jackson Powers
Yes,
Johnson,
from Oregon.
from Oregon.
I
Then
don't think
there
he'll make it
was
to us.
no. I think he's
He was the real deal. Like everybody, everything that everybody was talking. So I did tons of mock drafts. He keeps
not getting him.
that's not going to happen. He's not going to be
We're not getting him.
fourth.
Unfortunately, but um guys that I think would be in our range that was what's his name? I'm slipping. You gotta forgive me. I think
You
it might
good?
have been what's his name?
I shouldn't have put you
The
on the
guy
spot like that.
from Duke,
Oh, Barton?
Barton. I don't think was my guy Cooper BB there. I don't think he
No,
was.
he was not
No,
there. Like some of those dogs weren't there. I could
they were.
maybe see him at the combine. They're most likely going to do pro days. I want to see Cooper, but I don't know if Dallas would jump out there that high, like a first
No,
rounder.
we wouldn't. We wouldn't get him in the first. Now, last year when I watched his film, he did seem this year that he was a little bit less dominant than he was in the 2022 season. So
Mhm.
I think now he's dropped, and he's. I think people listen to him now as a second or third rounder. I was definitely thinking he would be a first rounder. So he's a guy that I think is probably going to go like top of the second. So it would be like if we were to get him, we would have to trade. If we wanted him, that like, oh, he's our guy, we'd have to trade back,
Dallas
or
ain't
you just
doing that.
have to pick him at the bottom of the first for us. Since we're pick, it'd be like another like Mozzie pick where it's like maybe you really got a second round grade on him, but it's like he's not going to be there at the bottom of the second, so you're either going to have to pick him now or trade back. But there was another like the other guy, not Latu is a D lineman.
Mhm.
There's another guy. I think he's out of Washington State.
Is the edge
He
guy?
has like a no. He's a offensive tackle. He kind of is built like a tight end. What is his name? He's also he's I think he's got an Islander name as well. He's an Islander. Why is he's skipping my name thoughts right now? Washington State tackle. I
Because
know.
I know. He
Hold
said
on.
Mozzie Paz is a bust. No, I don't think he's a bust.
Troy Fountain. I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
Fountain.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Troy Fountain. Yeah,
yeah. He's a good
he's
player.
yeah. You saw him out there. Yeah, he's a guy that I also think um people are saying tackle guard. I don't know. What's up, Sports Junkie? What's up, everybody in chat? J Money, glad to see you guys. Um, but Troy Fountain, I haven't really delved deep into his film, but I
Mhm.
know like guys like the old line guys like Vach and stuff, they love him. So
So
I've
let
seen
me
a
ask
little
you
bit of film
this:
of him.
first round
Hmm.
pick. Who are you going with, or who do you think the Cowboys would go? I'm gonna ask you first. Who would you would pick? What position? And then ask you, what do you think the Cowboys would
For
do at that
me
first pick?
personally, it's hard because I do think in the first round I would go BPA. Like if there's one of those, if what's his name from Florida State,
Brent?
6'4" guy that probably gonna run like a 4.3. What's his
Oh,
name?
is it Kelvin?
Keon Coleman.
I can't remember.
If Keon Coleman
Keon,
is there,
Keon.
absolutely. I'm taking him. I think if I think first round. I think honestly, I know we've had some all pros in the draft past 2020, right?
Mhm.
But I think 2020 was like one of our best drafts in recent history because I do think in that draft we just drafted BPA, BPA, BPA. I do think when we tend to draft for need, that's when we get in trouble. Um, unless it's an offensive lineman. So whatever high grade offensive lineman is there, if it's our guy, I'm fine with him. I'm fine with taking him. I will say that we don't really need to reach for offensive linemen because I do think that this is a draft that's flooded with really good offensive linemen, and that those guys are plug and play guys.
Mhm.
So I mean, unless you're just like 100%, so I don't think you say, "Oh, I gotta go offensive lineman. I'm gonna pass up on Keon Coleman." I don't think that that's something you would want to do. I know people love it. I know you talked about him on the final word, Xavier Leggett. Um, I know I looked at who was that? Dane Brugler dropped his draft list. He's got Xavier Leggett low, but who
That's
knows?
fine.
Maybe
I want
yeah.
that.
I'm like that's fine. Like
Rate him low.
I'll gladly take.
Drop.
Xavier Leggett. You know, if you have one of those premium wide receivers, just like in the 2020 draft when CD dropped, you go ahead and pick those guys. You go ahead and pick them. You don't look back. You know, if Quinion
CD needs
Mitchell,
somebody opposite him. He needs a real dog opposite of him. Like
yes,
he
he does,
and
and
and,
he,
I, and it's no hate on Cooks. I liked how Cooks was a great compliment to him, but he needs a young
yeah,
dog. Like
he needs a
he
dog because,
he needs a
yeah,
young, exciting dog that can really bring the
correct.
best out of him.
Right, right, exactly. You know, like when he came in, we had Amari, right?
Right.
So we need that type of like dynamic tandem. You know, you
Yes.
look at the teams that were in the championship and Super Bowl. You know, you got Debo, you got IU. You kind of need two guys. You know, I know the Chiefs, they're a little bit weird, but I think Rasheed Rice. I mean,
He's legit.
he's gonna be
He's
something else
legit.
next year.
He's legit.
So you got right. So you got Kelsey, then you got Rasheed Rice. Like you got to be able to pair. You have who's it? Amon St. Brown. Then you got Jameson Williams, who this was like his basically his rookie season because he was suspended a lot. Actually, I think he was suspended like half of this season or something for
Mm-hmm.
like 6 or 7
Mm-hmm.
games. So you got these guys that like you kind of need two dynamic wideouts. Now, I do know that we are hoping that Jake Ferguson even takes another. I mean, he took a huge step going into year 2. We hope he takes another step to maybe get himself. You know, he was a Pro Bowler, but maybe he gets himself a All Pro nod or something like that next season, and that would be great. So but I still think that if we could just get someone else, because I think what Dak's missing now is that wide. And I think Nate Newton talked about this. Basically, is you just every quarterback is once they get seasoned in their career like that, you need that wide receiver where you can just pretty much throw the ball up to them and they'll go
Yes,
down with it.
I
Because
agree.
sometimes, trying to always make the perfect throw and all of this type of stuff is too much. And sometimes you really just need to be able to just throw that ball out, up and out, get the nervousness down, and get somebody out there that can make a play. CD Lamb is not really CD Lamb is dynamic. So please don't. I hope nobody in the chat thinking I'm taking a crap on CD Lamb, but he's not that big. I'm gonna just throw it up there with 3 guys and he's coming down with. That's not CD's game. That doesn't mean CD's not all pro because he is clearly. He's in a league of his own, broke history this year, all that great stuff. But I think Dak needs that guy, and that guy used to be Michael Gallup. But I think Michael Gallup, I don't know what they're gonna do. I think they probably will
They
get
got to
rid
let
of
him
him.
go. It's over.
Yeah, I think they're gonna get rid of him.
It's over.
If they kept him here, I'd be surprised. I mean, if they keep him, whatever. But I do think Gallup's problem was the consistency. So Dak needs somebody that can be that consistent, pretty much that dominant, consistent X wide receiver. Somebody like Keon Coleman, which I don't think he'll make it to us, but if he does, or Xavier Leggett, you could just throw the ball up. They're taller and they will come down with it. So those are guys, but yeah, I think definitely first round we need to go BPA. We don't need to reach for a linebacker or nothing. We just need to whatever's the best on the board. I haven't really looked into the pass rushers, but if there's some premium pass rusher there. I know people talk about Jared Verse from Florida and everybody. If there's premium guys there, just go ahead and pick it and just figure it out, figure it out. But I don't think you need to pass up on supreme talent. We did that last year because we were drafting for need. I think last year out of the Mike McCarthy era was the worst draft we've had as far as immediacy. Like these players are going to come in now, and I'll be honest. I was kind of trying to spin the draft. I know a lot of people was pissed off. A lot of content creators were like that was a futures draft, da da da. But I was thinking, no, maybe these guys will come in, they'll help now, which I think Luke did help, but he wasn't second round pick help.
Right.
Mozzie lost all that weight, and then that messed him up. And then
Right.
once it got down the line, it just kind of got iffy. So hopefully, we draft players that can come in right now and help us.
We need to because the jury's still out with me when I keep on hearing the all in. I don't know if y'all really going to spend that money because you've been quite the uh the person on the deck. It's day 14, it's day 15, it's time to sign Dak. You can go ahead and
Yep.
make these moves. and
Yep.
Dallas is notoriously doing what they always do: sit on their hands. They sit there and wait, and then all the good people gone, and then they scrounge up and get one person to make us feel great and excited and happy.
Right.
So we'll
Somebody like a Bobby Wagner this year.
right.
We've been asking for Bobby Wagner for 2 years now.
Exactly. We've been
Then,
at,
then they'll give a
and then we'll
36
always.
year old Bobby.
Exactly, and then they'll tell us, "Oh, but it's Bobby Wagner, but it's Bobby Wagner too late now, Bobby
Too
Wagner.
late.
We could have
Too
got Bobby
late.
Wagner years ago. Now you're getting him, and now you're trying to sell us this dream that he's gonna come in
Hmm.
and just do miracles. Like that's so the jury's out with me for me to be able to see that they're gonna go
Yeah.
ahead and actually jump out in free agency because they're gonna have to do that this year. Skywalker
Yep.
still he made a post where he says that first year defensive coordinators the front office usually tries to look out for them the first year.
Yeah, I saw that.
Zimmer
Hmm.
is, we heard about the linebacker position. We kind of know what kind of defense he wants to run, so he's going to have to add those. So we're going to see. We're really going to see if this is
Yeah,
all
we
in season.
see.
We're going to see if you really jump out there and really suspend some money.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to sign some people. You're going to have to wheel and deal. You're going to have to get aggressive right now. And when I see you just sitting on your hands, I just don't get excited because I feel like you're doing the same thing.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely, like I said, I'm definitely not drinking the Kool-Aid until I see results. So, and I say it leads with our contract extensions. Get that done because we're currently negative 14 million in the hole with the cap. We need to get these extensions done so that we can sign people. When you look at the free agency market, there's a tons of guys that we
Tons of
can
guys,
get that are
tons.
not that expensive. I've looked at their whatever their market value. Guys like Levante David, guys like Josie Jewell, guys like Aziz Alshir. Like these are guys that can come in, start right now. Devin White, and they're going to make your defense like yours better. Now, when it comes to what we love to get, what's his name over there from the Ravens? What's that linebacker's name? Patrick
Patrick
Queen. Yeah,
Queen.
sure. Do I think we're gonna get Patrick Queen? I don't think so. I mean, if they do, that would be huge. Like people talk about like what's your all-in moves? Patrick Queen. If you somehow were to really sign, I don't believe it for a second, but let's say
Right.
it was real that we could sign Legarius Sneed from the Chiefs. Like those would be like crazy moves where we would be like, what the hell? But that would be moves that we would be like, okay, like we really try to bolster up this roster because he was all pro last year, obviously. But I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they're gonna do. I'm just asking them to do a little bit better than Marshalls. I think my brother said he was like, instead of Marshalls, how about go to Nordstrom Rack or the Ralph Lauren outlet? Just something a little bit better. Doesn't have to be the Gucci or the Louis store. But if we could just get some little bit better that's in our price range, we can bring in to help us. That's all we're asking for. Because you look at those teams, like I said in the Super Bowl, you make moves in the off season, but you also got to make moves in season. Like we can't. So it's a lot of stuff that we got to look at. Big. We can't just look at what you did in the off season. I got to look at what you
Hmm.
did in season too, because the teams that are going to Super Bowl, the teams that say we're not going to rest, we're just going to keep trying to make our roster
Right.
better till the last second, and that's what we should do. And if we don't see the front office doing that, like say they make some good moves this offseason, but we see them trade deadline doing same old, then we're gonna know like you guys again, not all in. It's the same song and dance. So there's a lot of things that we have to look for as Cowboys Nation and not just get caught up. Because like I said, I did get caught up in the whirlwind last year and we had some issues. But we just thought, oh, it's okay. These issues will resolve itself. And obviously that didn't happen. So
Yeah, and we're going to like I said, we'll see a lot of talk, but I need to see it because I haven't seen it before. Like even when you did it last year, that was a step in the right direction, but it still was cheap. It wasn't like you really spent money to get it.
it
You didn't
was
really
cheap.
you didn't go out hard to get it. You fleeced it to where
Right.
you can have not to spend a lot of money. So really wasn't really
Exactly.
all in. You weren't getting those difference makers because, like I said, we're getting them now
Exactly.
in older years. They're
Oh,
playmakers. You feel me?
exactly.
But they're in older years. Stephen Gilmore, you
Mhm.
could have had him 3 years ago, but
3
you didn't
years
want to
ago.
spend the money.
Right.
Brandon Cooks, you could have had him last year when
Last
you
year, but
needed
you didn't
you.
wanna do it.
You didn't want to do it. You wanted to wait another year.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm like, okay, you're talking a lot of that, but I'm just skeptical about that. But
Right.
we're gonna talk about obviously Mike Zimmer now. We know
Mhm.
the Dan Quinn's gone. He's putting a staff together over there. Like I said, I'm gonna just give him a shout out because he's putting a lot of minorities in over there. So I'm gonna give him a shout out for that. But we're over here with Dallas. You got Mike Zimmer and I'm gonna keep it real. A lot of people were, I didn't hear a lot of people screaming Mike Zimmer, but as soon as his name came in the streets, I already knew he was gonna get hired with Dallas. I knew it. I knew nobody else was getting it. I knew Mike Zimmer was coming here. You heard everybody talking in Twitter, giving out Mike Zimmer this, Mike Zimmer that. And I'm like, well, damn, he hired. Sound like he hired. Ain't nobody else got a chance. And that's the flaw, in my opinion. But
Mhm.
Mike Zimmer's here now.
Yep.
What are your thoughts of Mike Zimmer as of right now?
Yeah. Um. So my honest thoughts about Mike Zimmer is, I do think Cowboys Nation needs to temper some of their expectations, because I know all these clips flying around, but those clips was a long
100
time ago.
years ago.
He is older. You can tell just from his press conference. He's an older guy, right? So all of that, what he was doing on the Bengals sidelines, I don't think we're gonna get that from him. Right? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that he's not gonna have the toughness and all that type of stuff in the discipline. But I think, that fast talk can cuss you out on the side, all that stuff. I think Cowboys Nation needs to temper that, because I don't think we're gonna be seeing all of that. Once you get past, and you don't have to do all of that, especially a lot of the older coordinators and older coaches, they're not doing all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're older. You are more chill and relaxed, right? I do think that he's still going to be hard and tough on the guys, and I think, he did say in his presser that, some players need this, just like parents. Parents know my kids are different, so I got to deal with this kid like this way, and I got to deal with this kid like that way. But I do think that with Mike Zimmer's pedigree, that he's a good coach. Like, you can't really look at his resume and say, "Oh, he sucks. He's a jag. He's what has he done?" There was names floating around like Mike Vrabel, and I said, well, the only time Mike Vrabel was a DC was when he was with the Texans, and he wasn't very good. Then he got to the Titans. I don't know if Mike was calling his own defense or not, but I mean, they were like middle of the. They're pretty. People just Mike Vrabel's defense has a reputation, but it's not like Mike Vrabel has like this pedigree, these skins on the wall. I think a lot of people just like him because he's young. But anyway, but I do think that, like, Zim has the resume, right? And I do think that it is important, coming into the toxicity that is Dallas, that somebody is used to dealing with the toxicity.
Hmm.
And a lot of people are like, well, did anybody hear him say that, like, he's close with Jerry and Steven is his friends and stuff like that? That could be seen as negative, because it could be seen as, oh Lord, the Joneses done brought somebody in here that they can control, typical Joneses. Or it could also mean the opposite, where it's like, because of his temperament, they have that respect and reverence for him. And so he'll have their ear more than an average coach just coming in, right? Because he's a little bit older compared to the Joneses. Their typical guys that they like to control is bring in somebody that came in under them that's a younger guy. So because Zim is an older guy and he's got history with them, I do think the Dallas Cowboys will, or Jerry and Steven will listen a lot more to his input and maybe take a step back instead of trying to control everything like metal. You know what I'm saying? But we'll have to see, because like I said, I put on Twitter today, like, there are certain personnel that I'm like, if these guys are still on this roster, or if some of these coaches still stay here, you know, you're going to have to know that there's some things going on. Now, some of it may not be Jerry and Steven. Some of it may be Mike. You know what I'm saying? Because I was grateful that Al Harris stayed. I would have been fine if Al Harris left too. I wasn't like he has to stay either way. That wasn't me, but some people were like that. But I will say, when you go to the guys like Scott McCurley, you know what I'm saying? is he going to stay? And I'm not saying Scott McCurley is the worst coach, because I mean, maybe he can also be molded by Zimmer. That's also possible. So, but I do think that Zim is gonna bring to us what we haven't had. And I know, like, I think you were talking about how, like, Dan Quinn in the playoffs, he did show up last year, and he did show up in 2021 for the most part. But I will say that what's plagued us now, it didn't plague us. Our defense in the playoffs played the best they could have played last year. But when
Mhm.
you look at 2021, you look at 2023 years, it's undisciplined. It's players don't know their assignments. It was a lot of issues with the players, and the consistency, communication issues. So I will have to say, I do think Zimmer will change that up, because I mean, based on what he said discipline, fundamentals, all those things. So hopefully we see that on that side of the ball, because I think that our players, that wasn't really Dan Quinn's MO. His whole thing was fast and physical. He wants athletes out there running around, hence why he had like 20 DBs on the field. But
Mhm.
hopefully we can get somebody that can help us bring back um the fundamentals and the discipline to our defense, because when you're watching these playoff games, I mean, that's what we saw. We saw defense stepping up. Their offense couldn't get things going, and defense was stepping up to keep their teams in games. And like, we're realizing that, hey, if we can't do that, we're not gonna win. Because as much as I love Dak, I'm wearing his shirt. My favorite Cowboy favorite player. He's not going to be winning shootouts in the playoffs. It's not happening. I don't care what anybody says. Not happening. So if that's what we're expecting from Dak, and for Dak to be perfect and play all games and score 5 touchdowns, 0 picks till the Super Bowl, like that's not happening. So
Mhm.
I think we got to bring that discipline back on that side of the ball, because I think it's probably been gone since when Rob Marinelli, maybe.
Right.
Mm.
And to your point when you're talking about that interview, and that's what I said, Star. Which you said people need a temper because he sounded like a grandpa to me. That's why I said that. He sounded
Yeah,
old.
he's old.
He
He's
sounded
old,
old.
man.
He sounded his age. Like when he was answering the questions, he was slow with it. It was
Yeah.
I mean, that's the age. I mean, it's not hating, it's
It's just
reality.
what it is. It's just the reality of it. So
That's the
yeah, people got a
reality of it.
temper.
It's no hate. He
Mm-hmm.
sounded older. He sounded like a grandpa. He sounded old.
He
When they
did.
were asking him questions, he took a little bit of time to
Time to
get the
answer.
question
Mm-hmm.
and comment on the question because that age is there. You feel me? And
Mm-hmm.
so that's all I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying. So here's my thing. I
Yep.
definitely believe he will add value as far as you know discipline.
Mm-hmm.
But just like you said, Star, we saw those highlights when he was with the Bengals 14 years ago. That's when he was in
Right.
his mid 50s. He is
Mm-hmm.
almost 70 years old now. He's probably not going to be doing that. So
Right.
can't be just out there doing the media propaganda like, oh, this is the Zimmer. You see what Zimmer did, and then just because Emmitt Smith and Darren Woodson, oh yeah, they're old school. He was with them back in the day. You
Yep.
feel me?
Yep.
He was there with them back in the day. So they're going to have that memory of him, not the memory of him now. So
Mm-hmm.
people can't live off that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, be all I'm saying is, hey, let's see. Let's see. Let's just not,
Let's
oh,
see that
he's gonna
exactly.
do this, he's gonna do that. No, let's see. Let's see,
Let's see.
because he has also been out of the game. Yes, he did a consultant with Jackson State, but he still haven't coached in the NFL for a couple years. And he's still
Right.
67 years old. So we'll see. You said the Shanahan stuff, okay, but I know older
Mm-hmm.
guys are setting the way. So, like I said, we'll see what happens with that. And I mean, I just can't just this is going to be so great, and now everything's going to change, and this is the guy that's going to get us over the hump. I'm sorry, I just don't feel that way, and I just
Mm-hmm.
kind of just need to step back and see it. So we'll kind of see with that. Now, with
Yeah.
him being in the building, Star, um,
Yep.
what do you think about staff? You seen he went try to go with Andre Patterson, and now Steve Wilkes is out there. You know, I know it's hard to know it's hard to know the defensive coordinators or
Yeah.
the assistants and things of that
Yeah.
nature. But how do you feel about? Let's just throw it out there. Steve Wilkes, would you want him since he just got let go by the
Yeah.
Niners? Would you let him on the staff?
I think for sure. I mean, I know Steve Wilkes, quote unquote, had his issues. But I mean, he ran a pretty good defense. I mean, was it D'Amico Ryan level defense? No, but his cornerbacks, they were Jags under D'Amico Ryan, and then all of a sudden, now he what's his name? Um, the guy that used to play for the Cowboys. What is it? What's his
Oh,
name?
Lord have
I
mercy. Is it
Travarius Ward.
Travis
Now
Ward?
he's an all pro cornerback. So I think those are things that we've got to consider. You also got to consider he did lose his all pro safety. So like there's things that he lost, but that defense was pretty good, where they just like outstanding and choking teams out, like the Chiefs and the Ravens. No, they were not. But I think he had a good, solid defense. And I think in the Super Bowl, he did a pretty good job of containing Pat, in the Chiefs until late in the third, I think. And I think, what was it? At the end of regulation was like 19-19 or something. Like, he didn't deserve to get fired. I mean, to be honest, Kyle Shanahan fired him because it's just a scapegoat. And to be honest, he never. Somebody said, I think I hate to agree with him, but I think Emmanuel Acho said it. He was like, "You never believed in this guy in the first place." So I was like, "Why did you hire him?"
Hmm.
Trying to tell
Hmm.
him, "Oh, And when they were on that 3-game losing skid, it was his fault. The score to the Browns, like they only let the Browns score like
They
18
had an
points or
opportunity to
something.
win the game. The dude missed the field goal. Like you can't
Exactly.
blame
Like
him.
it's not like this guy was just horrible. Like,
They weren't
let's
getting
be
blown
honest.
out in them games
No,
when
they were
them
not.
games they were
Exactly.
losing. They were not getting blown
It's
out in them games.
exactly it's Shanahan. You know what I'm saying? And
It's his ego.
Yeah. John, that's what I'm noticing about Kyle Shanahan is he has a
He's
huge
got he's got
ego,
a big ego.
and he's been there since 2017.
So he feel like he can just say what he want now.
And I mean he can because
Right,
John Lynch
allows it.
allows it, does
Hmm.
whatever he tells him to do. It's like, John Lynch, are you the GM or is Kyle the GM? I
Right,
don't know, but it
right.
seems like Kyle Shanahan, the owner too. The owner seems soft, so it seems like Kyle Shanahan is over there just controlling the whole organization, and they're just like, yes, sir, whatever Kyle wants. So it's like it's not really making any sense.
Hmm.
And now you're like putting the 49ers, what do they say? It's your fourth defensive coordinator in 5 years.
Right.
So it's like, get serious, but they'll never fire Kyle Shanahan because they're like, listen, we're gonna take getting to the Super Bowl every other year. And honestly, it's like you can't really blame them because I
I
mean,
mean,
at
he's still
least
young. He's only like 44.
right. So it's like they're gonna ride it out with Kyle until he figures it out. But yeah, I definitely would pick him up. I don't know if Zim is planning on giving Al a promotion or not. I would like to see Al in a promotion. And I would like to see them kind of I mean, I wouldn't be opposed. I mean, bringing somebody, if you know some coaches from the college world, I've been seeing he's been doing a lot of not just work with Jackson State, but he did a workshop for
Bring some
coaches
of
in
them young guys
Grambling.
in.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I want because now all the old coaches and coordinators, everybody's pretty much got their staff. So we're pretty much at the end of the rope here. So I would strongly consider like bringing some of those young, like you said, African American coaches in. Doesn't have to be African American, but
Right, right.
I like diversity. So bring some young guys in, some different guys. I mean, he's been in the college world for a few couple years. I know he knows some guys that he can bring in that can help us. You know what I'm saying? I think that would be good. I really don't know who else he would want to bring here from the NFL world who's already coaching in the
Just don't bring
NFL.
a bunch of old guys, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Bring some youth. I think when you're an older coordinator, and that's why I think it would be good to bring in some college guys. Like bring in, how Andy went and got Airbnb, who was like a college guy. So it's like bring in some young minds that can help you.
Right,
You
because
don't
they're
want to
seeing
bring
this.
in
They're seeing this
right,
change and they're dealing with it, and we get it. You've been
right,
there and done that, but you still got to adjust to this new NFL.
right,
And
exactly.
I hear what they said and what he was doing. His defenses. We get it. I looked at the numbers, and I'm gonna keep it real. I mean, if you do look at Zimmer, he always has good defenses. That's just the
Yeah,
truth.
that's just the
That's what
truth.
he always has. That's like his calling
Mhm.
card.
Yep.
So as I said before, from that aspect, I'm like, okay, let's see what happens because there is some talent on the team. But
Yep.
schedule's going to be tougher. Going to be a lot more moving parts, and to
Yep.
me, the free agency is the key. The
Yes, that's
draft,
the key.
the
That's the
draft,
key.
okay. We know we need to try to hit the ground running, but we or Dallas needs to nail free agency this year.
Yep.
They need
Yep.
to get aggressive. If you're saying you're all in, y'all need to get aggressive and really show you're about that
Really.
life.
Exactly.
This is the year you really got to show that life. And if I don't see you about that life, dog, I'm a really chirp. I'm gonna just keep it
Yep.
real. I'm a really chirp, dog.
And I think rightfully so. I think everybody. That's why I think I understand. Like, listen, I'm all for being positive, looking at the glass half full, but we can't be so positive that we're overlooking things. And I think whenever we see issues, it's on us, the content creators, on us, the new media, to call it out, because you already got the mainstream media that's gonna sell everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're getting the articles ready to sell. And I personally don't want them. I know everybody would be like, "What?" But it's like, I don't really want old ass Bobby Wagner now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean he old now.
he
Like I
come,
ain't hyped about
but
him
I'm
no
just
more.
like, I don't want him. I mean, I would come. He could come in like as a mentor, like a backup, but I really don't want him on the field. I feel the same way. People gonna kill me, but I kind of feel the same way about. I want to bring Gilly back, but I want to bring Gilly back for like depth and mentorship. Like, if
Yeah,
we
you
were to
can't
draft
be the
a
guy.
young,
You can't be the guy this year.
right, if we were to draft a young corner
He needs to be the guy.
in the first or second round, I want them to be playing.
Right.
So,
Playing right now and don't play that
right,
Gilly game because he's the veteran and you trust him. No,
and
you
that
throw
be
that
the
young boy out
problem.
there. Uh-huh. That'd be the problem. And
Exactly.
but see, that's what I'm saying,
Mhm.
Star. See, that's what I'm saying, even with the defensive coordinator, even with Zimmer. You just
Mhm.
explained how, yeah, well, we're gonna go with Gilly, even though we might have this young buck. Let's just throw him out there and let's see. But they always want to play safe. Now let's keep Gilly
Exactly.
out
Let's
there.
just keep the veterans. Let's
No, no.
no,
These
no.
guys got to cook and these guys got to play. So that's what
Exactly.
I mean. And even with Zimmer, it was almost like once Zimmer reached out to y'all was like, oh, we don't want nobody else. We familiar with Zimmer. Zimmer been here. He cool with us.
Yep.
We already heard how he cool. And now listen, I was listening to what you were saying when you were talking about it could be two things. One, it could
Mhm.
be, you friends and it's gonna be goofy, or it could be, well, because I am friends with y'all and I do know y'all gonna give me more leeway. In my
Mhm.
opinion, I don't see that, Star, because I was listening to his press conference and all I heard was a joyful thank you. Thank you for I'm glad I'm back with Dallas. I'm glad it was just all like a joyful thing. So I felt like,
Keep talking, big. I'm about to turn my fan on. I'm just
okay.
turn my camera off real fast.
Okay. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, well, if you're doing that, you're just joyfully jumping up and down that you got the job with the Cowboys. And in my opinion, it's just like, I don't think he's going to come in and, oh, I'm commanding this and I'm commanding that and that needs to happen. I feel like if Jerry and Steven come at him like, hey, we need you to do this, I don't think he's going to buck up. I really don't see Mike Zimmer bucking up to them and saying, "No, I need this. If y'all brought me here, I need this." Just me. I don't
Mhm.
feel like he's going to do that, and they can finesse him like they do everybody else because he's grateful he's back with them, and they're going to use that against him. And I just feel like those type of things is what kind of cripples the organization. And when we're trying to see why we keep on losing or why does this keep on happening, I feel like these type of things are the things that hold back. Even though we may have the talent, even though we can bang with everybody else, those little cracks and those little things like that,
Yep. It
those
be
mess up your
little
team.
little
It'd
things,
be the little
right?
things, and
Little
those
things that
it
is.
keeps you from it. And then we're always trying to put our finger. Why is this always happening? Because these things, and people don't want to
Yep.
acknowledge it and don't want to act like it exists. But these are the things that hold Dallas back.
Yep. I agree with that, and I do think a lot of what Zim is saying is, like, press media talk. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I will
Yeah,
say that,
yeah.
the overpraise of
He
Jerry, and
knows.
he's
He
he's best
knows.
friend. Yeah, he
He's been
knows what.
around it.
That's
He
the
knows the
thing.
game.
Any coach that's here, like, you know the game of the Dallas Cowboys. You know the game that you got to play. Everybody's got to play it. You got to be a part of the game. You got to be a part of the big picture and all of this stuff. But I don't really care about that. You know what I'm saying? What I want to see is results. So if Zimmer comes in here and he's a pushover and he allows Jerry and Steven to give him bottom of the barrel, you know, I'm gonna and if you're gonna give him bottom of the barrel free agents, then on top of that, not even allow him to have full control over who gets on the field or not. You see, that's gonna be the issue. So that's why some people I'm like, we got to get out of here because somebody like LVE hadn't announced he's retired. He
Right.
hasn't announced it yet, and
And we don't need
I'm
to
really
bring him back. He got to go.
we don't need to bring him back at all. But I'm terrified that if this ninja say that he wants to come back,
They're gonna be
because
like, "Come
and y'all
on."
remember he's still under contract, guys. They signed him just this past offseason to a 2-year contract.
Mm,
So this guy is still on the roster. He will not be gone unless LVE will not be gone. Uh-oh. Can y'all hear
what's
me?
that? Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, it said something about my mic, but LVE will not be gone unless he retires. Because if he decides to come back, he's going to be starting. And I don't hate LVE like everybody else, right? I've seen LVE step up in playoff games and stuff like that. But the thing is, we know what we're getting with LVE, and I think we could be better. I think we could be molding a young guy in his place. Like we're taking away meaningful snaps from our young guys, trying to keep guys like LVE on the field.
Right.
I don't
Those are progress stoppers.
that caliber, right? If LVE was a this guy's all a perennial Pro Bowl, then like a Zach Martin, then you can say, yeah, he's regressed, but he just made all pro again. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Hmm.
he's not a god anymore, but he's still pretty great to elite. You know, if LVE was that, then I say, yeah, keep him as long as we can. You know, just like a Tyron Smith. He made all pro again last year when he's healthy, but LVE's not that. So it's like, why would we hold up a roster spot? I feel the same way about players like Tyler Biotish. It's like, yeah, when he's healthy, he's serviceable. I understand he didn't give up sacks, 2 years ago, and he went to the Pro Bowl last year as an alternate. That's great. But I feel like we can get better at these spots. We can get better. We knew these guys were contributing to our issues. So that's what I'm saying. We knew linebacker was an issue. We know right now we don't have a middle linebacker on the roster. LVE is not a middle linebacker. Damone Clark is not a middle linebacker. Micah can be a middle linebacker, but I don't think he's going to be that. I think he's going to be an outside linebacker. So we don't currently have a Mike of our defense. J-Ron Curse, I think, should also, that's another guy. If I see him here again, I'm like, what are we doing here? Like,
Right.
these are guys that got to go. They got to go. So this is the type of stuff I'm looking for. And I know Mike Zimmer knows what he needs. So I'm really hoping that the Jones is like, and these guys aren't going to cost much. Somebody like Levante David, like that guy's going to cost like $1 million to $2 million. He just played in Tampa this past year for like $1 million. Like, these guys aren't going to cost a lot of money. So to me, this year it's going to be like, what are y'all really? What's the excuse? Because all these guys are cheap.
And
They're
it's a lot of free agents out there this year.
exactly. So
The
like,
free
we're
agent
not
crop,
asking
yeah, the free agent
exactly.
crop is crazy from
It's
top to
crazy. So
bottom.
it's like it's crazy.
There's no
The running
excuses.
backs. It's why would you not sign these guys? It's cheap. They're dirt cheap. This is right up Steven's alley. So if he just stands pat and just lets these guys go, and we're scraping at the bottom of the barrel, going to Marshalls and Ross again, then like it's the same old bullshit. And I just don't know how do you get hopium out of that? Like, are we going to get hopium from one draft? There's nobody in the draft. I'm sorry, I love the talent, but there's no one in the draft this
That's
year
gonna
that if
come.
we
Yeah, that's like
that if we got them, I'm like, wow. You know
right,
what I'm saying? There's not a
right.
single. I love Keon Coleman, Xavier Leggett. I love Austin. I love all of those guys, but none of those guys are gonna make me be like, wow, we are going to the Super Bowl because we got this guy. There's not a single person. There's not a
I
single rookie that I would have that thought about. So we definitely got to go in and get some free agents that can get us over the hump. Because again, we are, even though it hurts and sucks, but we are a back to back to back 12-5 team. That means that you are on the cusp. We're not all those teams that's like you got good talent, but you keep missing playoffs by a game and you keep being like 9-8 or 7-9, whatever. We're not that team. We're a team that's like there's not that many teams better than us, but when we're getting up there with our equal talent, we're pretty much losing because there's issues that we're not fixing. Now, granted, I am on the train that I do think Dan Quinn sabotages this year, but other than that, I do think that there's a little bit of issues that we gotta fix, and if we fix those, we should be good. Defensive tackles, are we just gonna rely on Mozzie and Big Hank? I don't think we should do that again this year. I think we should go out and try to. I mean, you got DJ Reader. You've got people that are gonna be cheap. Grover Stewart that are gonna be ready to come. They haven't won a Super Bowl, so they're hungry to win. It's just all about what are the Joneses really? What are they really about? Do I right now? I do feel like Jerry is full of shit. Do I feel like they're gonna go all in? No, I don't. They're not. They're definitely not going all in Rams and Tampa style. So I think everybody needs to temper that. They're not doing that. They're not going to sign all these high profile players. But we're just asking them to do their version of all in, which is just sign some, like we said, slightly better. Somebody from the Ralph Lauren outlet and not from Marshalls. That's what we're asking for. It's really not that much, but we'll see what they do.
Yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see what kind of input Mike Zimmer has in on that. Does he have any say, like the free agents, out there in these streets, draft?
Yep,
It's going to be critical. Like I said, this to me,
critical
like I said, the draft, we definitely have to hit on those first three picks. But to me, more than anything, critical is free agency this
free
year.
agents.
That
Period.
is that is the key this year. Dallas needs to get some guys. They need to get some
Period.
guys, especially on defense. They need to get
On
some guys
defense.
that are going to come in and do the damn thing. Like come in
Yep.
and make an instant impact. We need
Instant
those type of
impact. Ready
guys.
to go.
We don't
Yep.
need a guy that we think he can do this or he may no. We need to sign a dog that's
Um,
gonna come right in and he's gonna basically say, okay, I'm a dog, follow me. We need a couple of
right.
those type of guys. I mean, we
Couple
need
of
that.
those.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I we'll see. I'm sitting back and
We'll
watching
see.
Jerry.
That's what I'm saying.
You're talking a lot of
We'll
talking. You're doing a lot of talking
talking
like
a
you
lot of
always
talk.
do. But
Yeah.
right now, like you said, right now you could already signed your a quarterback. You already could
Yeah.
have did certain
That's
things. You
enough.
already could have
We're
been
waiting
getting
to
the
sign our
ball,
quarterback. Waiting to
and
sign
I think
CD
that's going to be a
Lamb.
long wait.
It's
I
like,
think
why
that's
are
going to
we
be
waiting?
dragged out.
Well, they said they got to get it done. They have to get it done before the league year, which the league year starts what, March 15th. So it's like you're waiting. What you doing? Waiting for Tua to get paid? Because they keep saying that Tua about to get paid. They keep saying Almiron is like, what are we waiting on? We waiting on for CeeDee Lamb. It behoove you to sign these guys.
See, hey,
Well,
I
we know
told you,
what the Jones
Stephen.
gonna do. They
I told
gonna
you,
wait.
Stephen. Don't. I'm telling
But we
you.
know what they're gonna do. They're gonna wait till all of these high price
And they're going to
people
be
get
crying.
paid.
Well,
And that's exactly what they want to do. When you're paying your quarterback, when you're paying your number one, then they go your number one wide receiver $30 million.
and then when
It's
Micah Parsons getting ready to come up, we just
we
can't
gotta
pay
pay Micah
everybody.
$45 million.
Micah going to have to pay that. Man, y'all kill me. Like, I'm sorry, man. It's a
That
joke.
be the
I'm
stuff. It
sorry.
is
It's
a
a
joke, but
joke. It's a
they're
joke.
gonna do it. We just couldn't sign them saying crazy stuff. If we had a kept Amari, we wouldn't have been able to sign Michael Gallup. Like that type of dumb shit. Like that doesn't even make
Y'all,
Michael Gallup cannot sniff Amari Cooper's
you
shot
feel
strap.
me? Like, please stop. Just stop with the madness. They think we're dumb and
It's
retarded, in my
crazy.
opinion.
You know what I'm
You know,
saying? It's crazy, but only just super just they just be on the front office's cojones. Do they just believe that type of crazy stuff? And I'm just tired. Like, guys, we stop pocket watching these players. Why do we be so worried about the front office? Like this, it's not like it's our money,
right?
but that's because Jerry and Steven, but not really Jerry, but Steven have trained us. So it's
Trained.
almost like we're a
We
reflection
do
of
pocket
Steven.
watch.
Well, maybe Dak should do this because of this. It's like, but for what? If we want to be like the Patriots and the Chiefs, that's great. But the Patriots and the Chiefs, they go out and get real talent,
And then they win.
and they let their coaches coach. So we're not those guys. That's what I'm saying. Like, y'all want to be those guys so bad, but it's like, it's not like if you take a team friendly deal here, we go out and wheel and deal like Howie. We don't do
Right.
that here. We don't do that. They just want to save money for the future. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not gonna use that money on any. They did the same shit to D-Law last year. He took a 3-year, $30 million deal. What did they do with that money? Nothing. Because they didn't sign any free agents. They said, yeah, we got Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore. We good.
And that was the
We
same.
didn't sign a single free. Did we sign a free agent? I don't think we did.
Okay, yeah, I respect. Hey, Dak Attack, he's on here. I appreciate you, dog. He
He
said
said,
big.
give me your reasons, bro. Here, what's been about the process irritating you? Oh,
Okay, so here, check this out, Dak
oh, about the
Attack.
Zimmer thing.
So I'm glad you're on here, dog, because I respect your work. First of all, I respect your
Mm-hmm,
videos. I
mm-hmm.
respect your work deeply. So I'm glad you're on here.
Yep.
This is what I don't like. As soon as, first of all, you sat on your hands with Dan Quinn. You
Mm-hmm.
knew Dan Quinn wanted a head coach job because Jerry said it in the media. I've been known Dan Quinn wanted a head coach job. So you knew he was desperate to get him a job. It's been 3 straight years. You knew he was desperate to get a job. So this most likely was going to be his last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had to know that. So you got to stay ahead of the game, but you don't. You sit there and wait, and you wait on him. Then when you hear Mike Zimmer jump out of nowhere and say, "Hey, I would love to coach the Cowboys. I'm interested." You automatically like, "Hey, he coached with us. Remember when he coached with us? And we're friends. You heard him. I'm really good friends with
Mm-hmm.
Steven. I'm friends with them. So what's that? I'm comfortable. We're comfortable with you. We don't want to go and take our chances on anything else. And
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be the way we're going to go. It's safe because you're in that comfort zone with this guy. And I'm sorry, when you start getting a certain age, in my opinion, yes, it's time. You get what I'm saying? When you're coaching and you see these young minds, like I said, the head coaches average age is 47. I think the defensive coordinators is like 53. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you look, it's
Yeah.
younger across the board. Do I say all the old guys need to get kicked out? No. But after a certain point, it's time. You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And we're living off of what he has done. Okay, I need to see it now. Okay, that's what he
Mm-hmm.
has done. I need to see it now. And so I just feel like they automatically seen one person, saw that one person and said, ain't nobody else getting a chance. That's a flawed process because other guys who could be good, who actually could make a difference if you stepped out there and took a chance, could actually be good for your team. But they're like, nope. And if you see that, free agency, when we're getting mad at free agency, that's what Stephen Jones. He's like, I ain't spending money on that guy because I don't know. So I'm not going to get burnt. So we're going to go with the safe side, get somebody cheap. So if we do get burnt or he don't produce, I didn't spend a lot of money on them. You get what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that's my frustration because it's like an altered game. It's already set up. There ain't no real chance for anybody else because they already got preconceived notions of what they want to do. And I don't like that. That's a flawed system.
Yep. And I agree. And that's the thing. Like, Dan Quinn just should have flat out been fired. Doing that whole, oh, he can come back and you handcuffed yourself to him while he's going on 20,000 interviews talking about it. If you want to come, like, what? He clearly did not want to be here. It seemed from the last presser that Mike did that he did not want him here because he gave the same answer when they asked him about Kellen last year in the offseason. He gave that same type of response. So it was clear that the fans, your head coach, Dan Quinn, he wanted out. So for why you front office are trying to hold on to him? Like, and we could have been out here looking for coaches. All right, thank you, Dan Quinn. You're fired anyway. So you don't get a job.
Right. You ain't coming
Sayonara.
back here. Bye.
We're not keeping you.
Go somewhere else.
Because,
We're not obligated to you.
right. Then we could have actually done some real honest interviews with some actual good coaches like Denard, like those guys from the Ravens and stuff. Then we could have done that. But guess what? By the time Dan Quinn's finally got his job, which the Commanders didn't even want him,
Right.
but by the time he finally got that freaking job, everybody else was taken. So it's basically like at this point, Yeah,
He's the best of the litter.
he's the best of the litter. That's where we're at with Zimmer. It's like, yeah, would we have wanted to interview some of these young mastermind coaches, like some of them coaches that came up under McDonald and stuff like that? Yeah, hell yeah, we would have wanted to at least interview them. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna do the Rooney rule those guys, so that at least they can come in and try to wow you, and you can be like, maybe I should think about this.
Right.
But by the time we got on our search, we had a select few people. And out of those guys, like, yes, we are going to be relieved that we got Zimmer over freaking Ron Rivera. Like, could you imagine
Right.
Ron Rivera?
Right.
Like,
Those
that's
are our
awful.
choices. You feel me? Like we have to be excited about those are choices. And like I said, Star, I don't
Exactly.
hate on Zimmer as a coach. It's the
Right.
process of how you're doing it. I don't like the process. Just like when Bill Belichick was talking about, looking for a team, everybody, oh, let's get Bill Belichick. And I'm like, man, that dude is 71 years old, bro. Like, I don't care. He had Brady, bro. Like, Brady, look at when he didn't have Brady, he didn't win. Like, dog,
I'm
that's the
not
proof
gonna
is
lie,
in the
I was interested in Bill
no,
Belichick, but
nope.
once they started putting out that he said he was bringing his coordinators, I said,
Exactly.
I'm
No,
out.
I'm not bringing no Josh
I'm
McDaniels.
out.
No, no, dog,
I'm
no.
out. I'm
Your
out.
coordinators
I'm out.
ain't all that. They weak. So I
Yeah,
don't
I
want you
can't do
here.
it.
So
Yeah.
and here's another thing that I said about this star that I'm hoping this don't happen because I'm gonna be pissed off
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that you were this is to me still a lame duck season with Mike McCarthy. And this is what I
Uh-huh.
said. If that defense shows improvement and it does good, but the team does not do good, and let's say we regress as far as wins, and I don't know, maybe you make the playoffs, maybe you don't, right? But it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't become the season you want. And they said, okay, McCarthy, we ain't firing you, but your contract ran up. Go ahead and walk.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you see a situation with Zimmer there, who's been a head coach in the league? They're familiar with him. They're tight with him that he couldn't be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys because they're talking about Belichick. He's 71. Zimmer 67. Why couldn't that be a possibility if that happens?
It very well can be a possibility, but I will say this:
I don't want that.
the Joneses usually go from old to young and inexperienced. So I think you got your old Super Bowl winning coach now. I honestly think that, like, if they get rid of Mike, I know this has been in the rumors in the streets, but they're probably gonna go get Jason Witten. They gonna go get
Oh
some
my
coach, and
God.
we're gonna be like, what? But that's the Joneses way. Y'all know they love those young, upcoming, inexperienced, no skin on the walls coaches. And if Jason Witten become our coach, guys, y'all
I'm
lock
mad
it
as
in.
hell. Don't,
He gonna be our coach for the next decade. I'm just letting
dog,
y'all know.
just please don't say that. I'll be
They're
so mad if they brought Jason Witten to be our head coach. I would be, bro. I don't know what
I'm
I would do.
telling y'all
If
right
you if
now.
y'all think y'all heard me now in these streets, if they brought somebody like that, or even Zimmer became the head coach, boy, you think I'm
Only
chirping
silver
now?
lining though, I was thinking
Mm-mm.
if you did bring Zimmer, we could possibly get Prime. That that's my. And I don't know if anybody's like that, but I do think if Zimmer comes, like, we gonna get Prime. So he gonna be something.
Stop,
Defensive
Star.
coordinator.
Stop, Star. Please, just stop. That would be a circus. That would be a circus here. Do we really want a circus? No, I don't want no Deion Sanders nowhere near here. It's going to be a circus. No, no. Stay away from them things. That's evil
Oh
talk. That is evil
man.
talk. Do not mention anything like that. I don't want Deion Sanders nowhere near this organization. I
Oh
would be
my
so,
god.
I would be mad at life. Like I said, if y'all hear me chirping on Twitter now, oh, y'all hate me. Y'all block me, mute me, everything. I ain't following Big no more. He tripping. That's what y'all be saying. I ain't following Big no more. He tripping, dog. He
Oh
going
my
ham every
god.
day. I would be so mad. No,
What?
no.
That's what I think. I think they're gonna go younger. They're gonna go get their former. It's gonna be an assembly of the former players Avengers.
I
That's how
mean,
I
that's
feel.
what they. It's like they.
That's what I'm feeling like.
I
I feel
mean,
like if Mike, because
it's
they're
like
gonna
they're
be
trying
like,
to
you
bring
know
the
what?
'90s back here. Y'all gonna bring every old '90 player here, dog.
Yup.
Early.
That's what I think. I really do think if they get rid of Mike, they ain't going the old retread way. They're gonna say, let's bring our young guys in here, Jason, and they're gonna be able to sell it. They're gonna sell the
They
hell
will
out of
sell
that.
it. Oh,
They're
because
gonna sell the hell out of
he
Jason
was
Witten. And
he
if Prime came here,
he just
oh,
won a national. He just won a high school
a
championship
high
his
school
first year
national champion,
coaching. He was made for coaching. Oh
perennial
my
Pro
gosh!
Bowler, All Pro Jason Witten.
And you know how many people,
Everybody,
you know how
he's
many people,
so tough.
you know how many
He
people,
loves
you know how many people are
football.
gonna fall for it. You know how many people are gonna fall for it. You know how
Eh,
many people are gonna fall for it.
A lot.
Yuck. Hmm.
A lot.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Jason Witten, the Prime come here,
I don't even
you
want to
talk
start
about
speaking that in the
buy-in.
air. No, don't speak that in the air. I was feeling good, and then you said that. Now I'm more miserable just thinking
That's what I'm
about it in
saying.
the
If you want to
future.
get rid of Mike, y'all better be careful because it ain't. I think it's gonna be. It's really gonna be a circus, but it's gonna be right up there in Steven Allen. We ain't
Oh,
gonna
he'll
know.
love it. They'll be in the
We
news
ain't
every
gonna
day.
know what we doing, but he could be like, "Yeah, we
Oh my
got
god.
Witten.
Now,
It don't
now,
matter."
now that last thing before we get ready to get off here, start. Now
Yeah.
that's what I want to happen. This right here,
What do you say,
Sean Lee. Now,
Sean
if that's
Lee?
one person, if that's
I
one
think they should
individual,
bring Sean Lee in this year. Why
that
not?
who
Why
you
not?
need to get. I've been screaming him for
Why
the
not?
last 3 years. Go get him. He was a
Bring
coach
him
when he
in
was
right
at
now.
Penn State. When he tore his knee up at Penn State, he was coaching. He was coaching, y'all. He is a natural. And you gonna tell me them players ain't gonna listen to him? You
Oh
gonna tell
no,
me Sean Lee ain't going? He's gonna be
bring
meticulous
Sean
in what he
Lee in.
does.
Kick Darius Thompson off the bridge. I don't even know why y'all brought him back to be our assistant LB coach. Like, get him out of here. He was terrible out of here. And get Sean Lee in the building. Absolutely.
Do whatever you got to do, man. I mean, he
Bring
said
Sean
he
Lee
was.
back.
He said
Absolutely.
he at some point in time he would be interested in doing it, man. Go get this man and talk to him. Like, where's your mind at? Where's your head at? This is where we at. You feel me?
Exactly.
Like, you could
Go and
come
get him.
right in and help this team. You automatically will command respect. And the reason why I
Yep.
believe not only would you command respect for what you did on the field, you are a X and O's guy. You're a studier. That's why you were so great. You're gonna tell me you can't teach that to these backers out here. You can't teach to these guys, bro. You are a coach in waiting. You could be a great. I feel in
Yep.
my heart
I
because
think so too.
you'd be a great. You'd be a
I think
great.
so too. I think that's something that they could, if he's interested, it's like those are guys. Like there's some former players that I don't mind. Like go ahead and bring them back. You know what I'm saying? If they say they want to coach, bring them in here. Bring them in here to help us because I think the players need whatever they can with just our defense. And that's the last thing I'll say, but our defense needs to get smarter because I think their football IQ was just not very high, and that's because Dan Quinn wasn't really asking them to do much. But when you look at these other defenses, all these disguises and rotating coverages, we didn't do any of that. We didn't do any of that. We just lined up. You know what I'm saying? So I really think that we need to bring in. And Sean Lee was a super cerebral guy, so I really think you got to bring somebody in here who can like really teach these guys because the coaching staff that we had on the defensive side of the ball, it's like, are these players being taught, or are we just relying on their natural talent? That's the question that I have, and it feels like a lot of the players they just are who they are, and if they made gains in the off season with their own trainers and stuff. They weren't making gains because of Dan Quinn. I don't even think they were making gains. I know people gonna hate me because of Al Harris. You know what I'm saying? Like I think like Bland and Diggs kind of just like are who they are. I think Al Harris helps them, but I can't say Al Harris made them. You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
I think these players were they already had the skills. You know what I'm saying? And they just needed the reps to be. That's my opinion. I know, some people love Al Harris, so they're like, don't speak ill of him. But that's just my opinion on it. But
Yeah, he just brought it out of him. I mean, he was already a dog player, so you just brought Trevor Diggs already had it in him. He brought that skill out of him.
correct.
Deron
That's
Bland
what.
already had it in him. He brought it out of him, and that's the job of a coach. You got the talent.
Yep.
My talent is to coach it up and bring it out of you so you can be
Exercise out
successful.
of it.
And
Right.
that's what he's done. And I think that's why we. And plus, I think you really see the personal relationship with Al Harris with his guys,
Yep.
and I think that's huge when you watch him. He is animated. He is on the field. He is coming off as soon as you come off. He is talking to those guys
That is true.
24/7. And I
He's
feel
an
like
emotional leader
he's an
guy. That's
emotional
true.
leader. And I feel like, I mean, if I was a player, I'd be following him. all
Absolutely.
day.
I like Al Harris. I don't want y'all to think I'm taking.
Oh
I
no,
like
no,
Al
no.
Harris a lot.
I didn't take it like that.
Yeah,
I'm bouncing
I
off
like him.
you. I like Al
Yeah,
Harris. I just if I was a player and he was my coach, I'm running through walls for
I
you,
would
dog.
want to play for him. Absolutely.
Hmm.
I would want to play for him. I think he's a good guy, a good coach. And like I said, I am glad that we were able to keep him because if we didn't keep him, I mean, it would pretty much be clean house. I mean, we would only have the terrible coaches left, Scott McCurley and Darian Thompson. We have nobody left. So
Because don't
I
nobody
do
want
think
them. Did you ever think about that? Don't nobody
I
want
know
y'all.
that's what yeah, it's like
We
it's
let Dallas cut y'all. Ain't nobody getting y'all.
no.
But we
That's
saving
true.
on to y'all.
That's true. Like
Lord.
if we get rid of you, no one's gonna pick. No one's killing to go get Darian Thompson
Scott
or
McCurley.
Scott McCurley. No,
Bruh.
I mean,
That's the bruh button. Bruh.
yeah, bro. Like I don't think anybody wants to go get. That's to be the problem. It's like we always keeping people. It's like don't nobody want these guys. Like come on, man.
Yeah, like
Like
y'all holding
get
on
rid
just
of
like
them.
Jason Garrett. Y'all was trying to, ooh, Jason Garrett, man, fool, ain't nobody want no damn Garrett. Like
It
y'all
is the
ain't like,
same thing. It is the same thing with Dan Quinn. I'm not scared of nothing that Dan Quinn doing.
I'm not
I
scared of
think
Quinn
he's
because
building a
he
good staff, but I'm like he had a good staff. He had an elite staff when he was in Atlanta, like top of the line staff. And
he
Dan
he'll
Quinn's he's not a
he'll be good the first few years. That's what he always does. He's good those
yeah
first few years, and then it fizzles. So, and
yeah.
I ain't
Then
even
it'll
scared of
burn
him
out.
as a head coach, dog. I'm not scared to
No,
use a
I'm
head
not
coach because I think you're a defensive coordinator, not a head coach. So you don't scare me
exactly.
just like Ron Rivera. Never was
You're
scared
gonna
of
have
him.
zero exactly. You're gonna have zero discipline.
You're not that guy. You're not the D'Amico Ryan. You're not that
Yeah, you're
guy.
not.
You're not
And
that
you
guy.
probably you're gonna have guys having what's his name, Jonathan Allen, who already pissed off,
Yeah, you're not that guy.
doing stunts and
Yeah, you're not that
having
guy.
them line up at 5 tech.
I watched D'Amico Ryans and I watched you, and yeah, you're not
Gonna
him.
be so pissed. You know what I'm saying? But salute to the Commanders fans. Y'all have fun with that.
Have
Hopefully,
fun. Y'all didn't hurt us. We ain't crying. We ain't crying.
have
He gone.
fun with
So y'all
that.
can have him all you want. That staff is the only thing that's gonna help him because ain't nobody scared of Dan
Yeah,
Quinn as
that
no head coach.
staff. But when you look at
Nobody.
Kingsbury, it's like
No, ain't nobody scared of no Dan Quinn as no head coach. Tell me. You tell me around the league who's scared of Dan Quinn as a head coach. Ain't
nobody.
nobody gonna believe you.
No, the Commanders did not want him.
You
They
was you
wanted,
was a sloppy second, dog.
and that's what it's like. You took that job, even though they're like, we don't
We don't
want you,
want you. Okay, we'll take it
Elder
because he
Ennis.
said no.
We'll take you for this year. That's what I think. They're like, we'll take you for this year, maybe
Well,
the
we'll
next.
see. Well, we'll see. Well, we ain't
And these
got no
are
other
basketball
choices.
guys, so they don't have no allegiance to you. They don't care about you. Like it was just dumb. But whatever. It
It's,
took our whole staff with them, but
they're dumb.
that's what y'all want
Yeah,
to do.
you take it, and we still beat the brakes off y'all. We're gonna feel good.
Exactly.
Feel me?
Exactly.
Because it's gonna be personal when Dallas
Period.
come play y'all. It's gonna be personal. Y'all
Yeah,
better know
it's gonna
that.
be personal
It's
because
gonna be real personal.
he's doing snake stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm glad Boss called it out because it's like it's weird. It's like I can understand if you had issues with the Joneses, but it's like, bro, it looked like you doing some sneak stuff to Mike, and I'm like, did y'all have a bad relationship or something? Like,
Right.
what are you doing,
You
dog?
feel
Like,
me?
it's weird. It's weird what he doing. I don't care what nobody say.
It
It's
was.
weird.
It was weirdo
That's
energy. You
my
went
opinion.
to Washington or rival like what?
Try to take my offensive staff. Like, what really are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
Where you sound like a scoring boyfriend or a scoring boss.
Yeah, it's
You was
weird.
working.
People are not
You know
seeing
what you
it, but
seem
it's
like
weird.
y'all was in business together and he was eating and you got mad and jealous. I'm gonna go start my own company and I'm gonna take
That's
everybody here with me.
exactly what it seems like. Something happened between him and Mike. I don't think they're
I'm
on
gonna
the
take my
best of
own. I'm gonna get my own job and I'm gonna take them people and I'm gonna beat you.
right. Taking all Mike's coaches, even this his defensive coach he brought here. It's like it's weird. Dan Quinn is all I'm saying. Like it's weird, and I think these coaches are leaving because obviously Mike is on a lame duck
Opportunity.
year. Yeah, so it's just like whatever, man. You
Yeah.
right, Robert. We are better without him because
Yeah, we
it's
are.
like
Ain't like
whatever.
I said, ain't nobody crying about Dan Quinn going,
Dan
hey, you
Quinn,
did a
see
good
you
job when
later.
you're here, but ain't nobody crying that you left. And
See
nobody's
you
scared of
later.
you being the head
We
coach because you were interviewed for how many jobs for how many years and you got the hand me
the
down.
bottom of the barrel.
You
Like
got the
nobody
bottom of the
wanted the
barrel job.
commander's
Nobody
job, and
you
nobody
wanted the
wanted that job.
Seattle job and they said no.
No, they said we'll take McDonald.
We'll take a first year guy who ain't did
And you
nothing.
were the coordinator that got him a Super Bowl
And
and then led him to Super Bowl again
they
back to back
said
years.
no.
They said, "See ya."
We don't believe
That's
you, Dan.
something. That's
It
something y'all want to think about.
said,
And
guess what?
Commanders
We
fans
don't believe you.
don't
But you
believe
know
you.
what?
And
It's the Commanders. So hey, y'all, we
with
know
all
how y'all
this
do.
talent, look what Dan Quinn did. And
Watch.
so y'all telling me with
He gonna flop. It's gonna be funny.
y'all's talent's not good. I mean, I don't know, but maybe they'll load up in the draft and free agency. I don't know, but whatever. We
Whatever.
done talking about. We done went long
They
today,
say
but
what they both said
whatever. Who
whatever,
cares?
whatever. But
Exactly. Who
hey, you know what?
cares?
Appreciate you. It was a good talk. We got to talk about
Appreciate you, big.
Zimmer. And keep on checking out the because, like I said, update my internet so I can go ahead and drop the videos now. So what I'll do
Yep.
is we'll talk during the week. We'll pull up some players maybe you like, I like, and then we'll show
Okay.
the tape next week. So we'll
Mm-hmm.
start incorporating that because the draft is getting ready to come up. So we'll start incorporating the players, how their stats and things like that. So make sure y'all tune in on that. That's going to be exciting. And make sure you always give my girl Star a follow. Go ahead and let them know, Star, where you at.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on X at the Stargazer. But instead of a E in gazer, it's a three and then two R's at the end. Y'all can follow me on Instagram at stargazer_sports. You can follow me on TikTok at stargazer.sports. And you can follow me on Facebook, Stargazer Sports Media. And then, of course, my YouTube is just Stargazer Sports. So, and feel free to, I encourage everybody to donate to me. You can see my cash up there, $ Stargazer Sports, so that I can continue to grow my channel and upgrade my equipment and stuff like that. So, anyway, thank everybody for being in chat with us. Please like and share, our videos, and hopefully we can see you guys next week.
Yes, and like I said, Star is a beast out in these streets. She knows her football. Please go give her a good follow. And like you said, you see her Cash App right there. You can definitely donate to because hey, this stuff ain't free. Them equipment ain't free and it ain't cheap. You feel me?
No,
And a
it's
lot of
not.
this stuff
Yeah.
costs a lot costs a lot of
A
money,
lot of
especially if we're
money.
trying to bring you the best. It costs money to do that. And
Yeah, it
that's just what
does.
it is. So it ain't never
Mm-hmm.
begging. It's just hey, if you like that good content, hey, throw some dollars this way so I can give you even better content. You see my Cash App right
Mm-hmm.
there. If you donate, and I appreciate everybody. I had one, while I was out there in Alabama, we did a show, Star, and Law was like, "Hey, hit James Cash App. He out there grinding for us, so man, do it." I give much blessings because I made people donated almost like $400 in 2 days.
Yeah,
It was like
that's awesome.
450, yes, $450
That's
like in
awesome.
2 days. That I was
Yeah.
literally looking at my phone, the Cash App, so I just kept on seeing dollar signs popping up. So that was awesome. I just thought that was amazing. I want just shout outs to everybody who ever donated. That was amazing to me. And I felt
Mm-hmm.
humbled. You feel what I'm saying? That was just dope. You know what I mean? But it makes you feel good, like, because you put in a lot of work and you want to give the best for the people. So it's good to see the
Yep.
reward coming back to you. So make sure you hook up my girl Stargazer. She's the up and coming in these streets for real, for real. She knows her football. She don't pull no punches. She don't be drinking Kool-Aid. She tell her as it is. She don't care. She be on Twitter. She don't care who you are. She gonna come at your neck on Twitter, and that's why I'm glad I rock with her because I'm like that's
Yeah.
like me. So you feel me? She don't care who you
Yeah.
are. You feel me?
Yeah.
She'll tell you, hey, respectfully, I respect you, but guess what? Take this, bam. So that's why I mess with her. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate what you do out there, Star. Keep being you. Keep doing your thing. A lot of great things going to be coming up and happening for you. So I'm glad I'm getting to see it from the
Yep.
beginning because a lot of great things going to happen for you. So for myself and Stargazer podcast, we're going to get straight off of here because I got to run upstairs and I know Star got to do her thing. So we appreciate
Yep.
everybody who's in the building. Appreciate all the likes, follows, shares, all that good stuff. And we'll be seeing y'all next week. Big Game James, Mr. Stargazer, the Big Star Show. We out.